Today, what we're going to be doing is getting an accessory bracket onto the 3.6. When you get a 3.6, they come in the later generation cars. I got mine out of a B6 Passat, which actually has electric steering, so that creates a problem. I'm putting it in a Mark II, and even though it's a drag car, I still have power steering. Now, a lot of people, instead of using this bracket, this is actually off of a Tuareg, which I would get because Tuaregs came with a 3.6, and this part number actually comes off of a 3.6 Tuareg as well, but I got this off of a 3.2. And since it's a Tuareg, they all have power steering pumps. What people usually do is they get a Mark IV 24 valve, so that's like a 03 to 05 VR6, which is the 24 valve variant. The BDF, I think it is, or R32. People like to get that bracket because you can put a Mark IV AC compressor on it, but that thing, we've done a 3.6 swap before using the 24 valve bracket, and you have to cut a ton off of it. So why not? I have no need for the AC compressor, so the 3.6 Tuareg or 3.2 Tuareg, this bracket requires minimal cutting. The only reason I have to even like slightly notch this is because of the intake manifolds, where I have a 2-piece manifold, which is really easy for servicing. If the valve cover ever leaks, I can just boop, boop, take it right off. The Tuaregs, they come with the 1-piece manifold, which is an absolute nightmare to pull off. But that's the only difference. It's a slight notch, and then it'll get on there. This is a Mark IV 180 power steering pump. From Mark IIIs to Mark IVs, even B3 Passats, B4 Passats, Corrados, they all have this. This, again, being, they're like Legos. So this alternator is actually out of a 2-liter. There's many options for Mark IIIs and Mark IVs. You can use any of them. So again, from, it's like 93 up to 05. That generation, the Mark III, Mark IV generation, you can use any one of these alternators. They have a 90 amp, which is on a 2-liter, and then the 120 is on the 180s, TDIs, VRs. But there is a slight difference in between the two generations. So Mark IIIs, they have bolt-on style pulleys, and you can just zip it off, take it right off, and swap the pulley. It's a non-clutch type. Whereas this one, you can see how I can spin this. It's called a clutch type pulley, and that's what the Mark IVs use. So that's the only variation, is just the pulley design. You can't swap this pulley and put it on a Mark III one, but you can swap an entire Mark III alternator and put it in a Mark IV. You can swap an entire Mark IV alternator, put it in a Mark III. This is a 2-liter Mark IV alternator, and it bolts right up, no problem. This is a 180 Mark IV power steering pump, bolts to this, no problem. I have all these special bolts. You have this special bolt down in here, this special bolt right here. They're like locating dowels, so basically they keep this lock center. And then these are just the rest of the bolts. It's just 5 bolts, I believe. Now, the one part that you do need that is specific to a 24 valve variant. 24 valve meaning all VR6s that are 24 valve. So you can get this from an R32, a 2.8 Mark IV 24 valve. You can get it from a 3.2. You can get it from a 3.6. But it has to be this type of tensioner. So this tensioner actually bolts to the head like a Mark III does, but it's specific to a 24 valve. So just make sure you get one of these. I got this from the junkyard, and if I would have known they were this cheap, I would have just bought one brand new. You can get a Euro tuning one for like 46 bucks. So I'd rather have OEM. I bought this one even though it had a bad pulley, and bought a new pulley for it. But total, I spent the exact amount of this stuff, the brand new pulley and the used tensioner, as I would have just buying a Euro tuning brand new tensioner. So that's something to think about. If you can't get this at the junkyard, very easy to source online. Then I have some random belts. If neither of those belts fit, I'll go up. We have some belts on the shelf, so I'll figure out which size it is and let you guys know. Here's the 3.6. Again, I have the 2-piece manifold. You'll see where the bracket goes. All these kind of shiny bolts, 2, 3, 4. I think there's another bolt. One of these, there's another one it goes to, but this is the front accessory bracket. That's what we're putting on today. Sorry, this is the 3.2 bracket. All these bolts are 6 mil. See how it fits up. So the first issue is it does hit the intake manifold about right here. I just hold this up to it. Oh, that's upside down. We'll just hold this up to it and notch it. See, I have it pretty much where it goes, right there. And you can see there's where it's hitting. So I'm gonna notch it real quick. I'm going to take out a little more than needed, but you can see right there where it's dirty, that's where it's hitting the manifold. I'm just gonna take this whole piece out. Should be pretty easy. I'm gonna do it right on the belt sander. Just like when I was doing my 180 engine mount, just ran it right on the belt sander. It'll take this away really. It's ground down now. Now, if that's all the notching we had to do, this will be 20,000 times easier than a 24 valve bracket. All these bolts are 6mm Allen. There's one. So I couldn't see this lower bolt hole, so I just started another hole that I could see. There's only 2 more bolts left. This is the one that needs a thread chaser. So these are M8 by 125. These are taps. I know I like save money on a lot of tools, but buy good brands of these. So this is a Snap-on one, I believe. I'll get Snap-on and Matco because they'll replace them all the time. And something you don't want to mess around with. The cheap ones are just junk. This one right in, no problem. This is just. So they're basically all the engines are machined the same or cast the same, and they'll just add different accessories to different engines. So that's why this bolt hole was just never used on this variant of the 3.6 by 125. So I would say these are probably about 16 or 18 foot-pounds. Look how good this thing fits. And the best part about this is I spent $20 at the junkyard on this bracket. The 24 valve brackets off of the Mark IVs. Now they're really hard to find because one, doesn't seem to be too many of them laying around. Two, when they do come around, at least around here, people know this stuff's worth money. So like when a 24 valve comes in the junkyard, that bracket's gone instantly, and that's when you'll see them for $150, $200 on Marketplace and whatnot. This bracket, I went to the junkyard. I had to go to 2 junkyards. Luckily, I went to one junkyard. Somebody was already there pulling everything that I wanted and needed. And then the second one I went to, the engine was out, but this bracket was still there. So I got really, really lucky. But this bracket comes on 3.6s, comes on 3.2s, on Tuaregs. So keep that in mind when you're going to the junkyard, get it. These brackets, I believe you can find them on eBay. I'll put the part number in the description, but I'm pretty sure you can find these for about $100 shipped, which is still insanely cheaper than the Mark IV option. And with that Mark IV option, I'm telling you, you'll be grinding away stuff. Like we probably took 2 or 3 hours grinding away to get that bracket to fit on an intake manifold like this on a 3.6. I'm so happy with this setup. I can literally use any alternator I want. So this is a 120 amp alternator from a Mark IV. Right here, literally, you can set it in place. Look at that. Clears the injector perfectly. You'll never have to worry about that injector. Dude, this thing fits so money. So I'm gonna bolt this on. I'm super excited about this because I was dreading, like I said, we did a 24 valve swap in the shop here probably last year, and this accessory bracket, dude, it was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare doing a 24 valve bracket on this. Everything fits, it's great. I can't imagine anyone after seeing this video wanting to find that $150, $200 Mark IV bracket. I'm linking the part number in the description. Buy the Tuareg one. You'll have zero issues. I love finding OEM parts that you can make fit other engines, other swaps, and not only does it save you money, but it fits great and you don't have issues. I did want to give a little quick tip. So if you ever have an alternator and you can't slide it on, it's because these little dowels right here, they're a press fit, so they slide in and out. What I do is I'll take like a 19 socket, put it on one side, whichever side you need to pull. So you can do that, and then you just put this on here, put a bolt in, and then you just tighten this bolt, and as you tighten the bolt, it'll pull the slide in. Start these and then run them in. Again, they're 2 long 13s. I think they usually work like 18 foot pounds. These 3 bolts right here in the cylinder head, these are all for a tensioner on other chassis. So this will be perfect for the Tuareg tensioner. You can see there's a little grommet in here for the coolant pipe, but that doesn't matter. You just pop it right out. Throw the coolant bottle back up here, and we can bolt the tensioner to it. So I need to change this pulley right here. It's bad. You can see it's real rough. This is actually, like, technically it's not serviceable, but I was able to find a pulley for it. So if your engine already comes with one and it's bad, get this. It was like 15 bucks on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. This is reverse thread, so you have to tighten this in order to get the bolt off. Looks about the same. Make sure the washer's on it, and make sure you have your thing on counterclockwise or loosen to tighten this one. See? Just give it one blip, maybe 2 for good luck. Let's get back to putting the tensioner on. Alright, so now the tensioner's on, the alternator's on. We can only use 3 bolts on this accessory bracket. See, 1, 2, 3, and this spacer will pull tight and lock it in place. You have to take the pulley off, so it's 3/6 mils. But now with the pulley off, you put this on. Bolt the power steering pump on, no problem. So if you forget how it goes on, just look on the front, you'll see just little circles. On the back, you'll see kind of the imprint of the whole pump. So you know this side goes onto the pump. This one is a 1432. This setup is best to just start on the tensioner. That's how default it is. I would say you could probably use this you probably could use this belt, because it does look like there's still more. This belt right here would work if you left it straight. All right, So that means it would just look just like that. So it would be nice to have it a lot tighter back here. So what I'm gonna do is, this is maxed out. I'm gonna measure this distance right here, and I'm gonna add that to this belt size and see how close I can get. Looks like about 1.25 inches, 32 millimeters. Pull this off now. We'll get the actual size of this. You need a 6 rib belt. This is a 5 rib. This is just what we had laying around, but the length's good. So this is a 1432 belt. This one fit if you wanted the, the belt to come straight down. So here are the 2 belt options. This is the 1470, and this is if you were going to be reusing the tensioner pulley that would be right here. This is just a 14 millimeter, take it off. But I feel for my needs, I went with the 1432 belt. As you can see here, deleting that. That way there's less rolling resistance. It's basically a pulley delete, so it'll make everything a little bit lighter. Free up a tiny bit of horsepower, but every little bit counts. Hopefully this will help you guys make your decisions.